Okay, good evening everyone. I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Richmond Township Board of Trustees to order. It's Wednesday, October 10th, 2018 at 7:30. Would everyone please stand and join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Here. Coleman.
Here.
Saltman.
Here.
Richmond.
Here.
LaFontaine. Here. DeVos.
Here.
Next item on the agenda is presentation of the agenda. Does anyone have any additions to the regular agenda? Hearing none, the agenda will stand as presented. Next will be public comment on agenda items only. Does anyone have any comment on agenda items only? Nothing? Okay. Next we have the...
Wait a minute. The ADA door bid award, do we have the specs so we know what they're going to do and how they're going to do it?
Mr. Wright has all of that information.
Because you said public comment, and I see we're paying like, what, 25,000? Are these 5,000 for the senior center, the rest for this? So are we getting one door, 4 doors for that amount of money? That's just what I wanted to ask. Did you want me to come back?
Or we can cover it when we get to the ADA doors when we discuss that.
Yeah, but I can't see them then. This is only time actually public comment, right?
Regarding this, but we will note that you asked it for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right, Jeff, we'll know when we get there.
Sure.
Okay, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Under this, we have approval of minutes of the September 12th, 2018 regular board meeting, building department report, EMS report, office manager report, planning commission report, and NEMC minutes. A motion would be in order to approve the consent agenda either as presented or if you'd like to make a change, so noted.
I'll approve it as presented.
Is there support?
Support.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Next item on the agenda is the financial reports. First up under this is approve and pay the bills. The clerk has given us a list of bills she's paid through the month of December. Does anyone have any questions for Kathy at this time?
It's a light month.
Hearing no questions, the motion is in order to approve and pay the bills as presented.
So moved.
Is there support?
Support.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Next item on the agenda is the treasurer's report. Bob, can you please address this?
Okay, the treasurer's report for the month of October is as follows. The general funds, fire funds have $472,336.53. The tax account has had at that time $1,917,612.48. The other PNC accounts, Recreation Fund, EMS, Senior Payroll, have $40,144.01. The investment accounts have $368,026.66. And the purchase of development rights account, $13,527.63. For a balance of $2,811,647.31. The only other points of interest, again, are the income for the month of September is listed on the third page of the Treasury report. Basically, in August and September, we have the low months. You don't see the quarterly repayment for the Richmond money CMS, which is the deposit in October, so it'll show up on the next month fiscal year revenue report. And the certificates of deposit are still at the locations that they presently been, that the Michigan Schools Government Credit Union and North Star Bank. That's about it.
Does anyone have any questions for Bob on the treasurer's report?
The numbers he's given aren't matching the numbers that are on the report.
They match mine.
This is what was in this thing.
Yeah, Yeah, I have the ones you just read in my packet.
What is Kathy?
I have it.
Have you? Did you pull up the current agenda?
Well, that's 8, but here's 9.
You got the wrong packet.
Yeah, that might be from last month.
You got the current agenda packet.
The one I had. Okay, maybe I did. Okay. No, I'll go back.
I did have a question for you.
Yeah.
I thought when you read the tax account, you said there was that,
Yeah.
you made a lot of disbursements, I assume.
Yeah, we made a disbursement
Yeah, they could.
of funds on the tax account probably first week in October. And I think we dispersed about $1,400,000 this year.
All right. Any other questions for Bob?
I'll shut it off.
No. Hearing none, the treasurer's report will stand as presented. We're at farmland preservation, but we're going to wait just a minute.
That's what's coming up.
Lori, why you let him use mine? Because I have a paper copy. And then that way he can follow along. No, it's a paper, because I have a paper copy in front of me.
Oh, I see.
Lori's good
Okay.
enough to let me do that so I can write it on. Okay? What? Yes, they do. They sure do. Okay, so now we are
Farmland preservation.
farmland preservation.
Still didn't have a meeting. We usually should, our quarterly meeting should be in October, but I believe that's going to be pushed back into November, first part of November, because most of the members have the vegetable stands and stuff, and they're going to be busy through August. So usually what we do is push our October meeting into the first or second week of November. So there was no meeting at this time.
All right, next we have the building report, and I'm going to defer to Jeff for this.
As far as the building items go, I think really all there is significant to report on since the last meeting was that we did get the cracks up the parking lot sealed. They put the hot tower in now. That should hold us through the winter. In talking with the contractor, he felt that we should hold off on the actual seal coat until spring. He said there's really not a huge need to seal coat as long as those cracks are filled. We'll just be seal coating and dump salt on it, scrape over with a plow. So probably better hold off until spring. So we did do the crack fill so we don't get water, and then ice even the asphalt, and we'll hold off until the seal coating will go that. We are unfortunately making certain the plow, the plow equipment and the salting equipment are ready to go. With that, there we go. With that, I think that kind of covers everything that I had, particularly on building for this month.
Okay, does anyone have any questions for Jeff?
With the sealing taking place in the spring, you're going to be like first in line for that company?
I asked him to do it as soon as we could, so we could still get it within this budget year. Is what I told him. I said I definitely want it so we'd have it as a current budget year expense.
Thanks. Anyone else have any questions for Jeff? No? Okay, next we have the assessor's report. I do know that last month I think Bob, you had asked about the easement agreement being signed for apps, and it appears that they did definitely come in and sign that. Looks like that was on the 20th of September. I'm not heard anything else from Chris on that. Does anyone have any questions they'd like me to take to Chris?
The only thing I want to make sure is that an affidavit, I see it's important, so it has to be recorded.
I'm so
It
sorry.
should be recorded.
Okay, so we should send it in to be recorded?
Yeah, I would ask Sharon, I'm sure that that's basically going to run with the property, and we want to make sure that future owners are aware of that easement as it's been drafted and signed by Mr. Campbell.
And then comes out of assessment. Department.
So I'm going to ask you a silly question, because I don't do that a lot. We can just ask Chris to send that in and record it. There'll be a recording fee. Or you said ask Sharon.
Well, I asked Sharon if, I'm sure that she will agree that it should probably be recorded, so then Chris can send it in to Registry of Deeds office. There will be a recording fee.
Okay.
And, we'll just have to have it returned to our offices so we have the original file.
Okay. All right, thank you. That was it? Anyone else have any questions for Chris? All right, we will move along to unfinished business as we do every month. We do have the medical marijuana discussion on here. I did find one article that was a little interesting, how they approved some licenses and kind of put a different deadline on others. Does anyone have anything that they'd like to discuss about that in particular? At the next meeting, we'll know how the election went, so. No? Okay. Next, we're going to move on. Chris came in just at the right time. The discussion of the building permit fees. So last month, kind of as an added item in front of you on the table, I brought a discussion about amending the building fees. And we explained the reason we were doing that was we felt that in doing some research Chris spent a lot of time doing, our fees seemed a little high in comparison. So Chris and Drew and Charlie and I all sat and talked about this, and we did come up with a new fee structure. So I'm hoping that you all have had a chance to look it over, and I did do a couple of comparisons with the old one versus the new one, just to give you an idea. The 2,500 square foot house under the old permit fees would be $1,321, and under the new would be $1,150. So the difference is not going to be really big, but I do believe it will be noticeable, and this will also address the concern we had with the backup inspector and the amount of money he was getting for the inspections. I had also asked Chris to provide us with the total building income from last year, and it was at almost $72,000. I don't think the reduction in the permit fees is going to make that much of a difference in there, but I just want to make sure you guys all had that in front of you. I think this year, the first 3 months, we've had about $18,000. So. On that note, I think let's start with a motion to amend the building permit fees as proposed and then we'll discuss. If I can get that motion.
So moved.
Is there support?
I'll support it.
Okay, open for discussion on this. I'm going to start with Chris. Do you have any questions?
No, I really don't. I think everything's looking pretty good. Nothing really jumps out at me. Have questions about.
Okay. All right. Kathy?
I don't either. I liked it.
Okay. Bob?
Okay, my first question, I'm reviewing this a little closely since the last meeting. It appears that the townships we compared to have minimal or no plan review fees.
Yep.
So isn't that a part of how high our issue is? How did that ever get started if we had such a high plan review fee versus the other townships?
And I know that that was one thing we reduced from 16 cents to 10 cents, and I don't know, I can't tell you how, when it became so high.
I'm looking at Armada Township has an $85 plan review fee on a $2,500 square foot home. Armada Township has a $85 plan review fee on $2,900
Right.
with home. It seems like that's a flat fee that they charge for the plan review. I guess what I want to bring to the attention of the is, I understand what we've done in the past, but maybe we should look at that plan review fee.
I think in discussion with Charlie, this is how I felt when I left that discussion. I feel that the plan review fees on on perhaps the accessory buildings, the pools, smaller homes, to charge a flat fee for a plan review may be something that was more equitable in the amount of money versus what was happening. I think that when there's a plan review for a bigger house, they were talking about some of the items that they have, the trusses have to be a special size, and they're different than they used to be because the insulation is, has to be, I can't remember exactly what Charlie said. So, what were you thinking on this? Were you thinking just reducing it to a flat fee? Were you thinking?
Well, I guess, in my mind, maybe I'm wrong in concluding this, I would think that maybe Armada Township has more homes being built than we do. I may be wrong, right?
I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't ask how many they
I built my house in '92 and he inspected my house.
Did he come with the check? I mean,
No.
I don't think so. You know, we can always, I absolutely have no problem if we wanted to buy some questions, because we're almost really at the end of building season right now. Would you agree to that?
yeah.
I mean, we don't have a lot of new permits. If we come up with some other questions that we'd like to ask, and perhaps ask Charlie to come and give us his thoughts on these, would you think he would come? I think we asked him he would come. Yeah.
The other question is, what is the CCA that is used by 19 other municipalities?
It's a company that they hired, and 19 municipalities use that, and that's what they're called.
Any of them in the local, in St. Clair County, or?
They're more up in, like, north of us. I do have it written down, like, the communities on the bottom of one of the papers.
It's not on the papers we have.
Not on the papers you have?
No.
I do have it. I want to say, like, maybe Emily City, North Branch, Yale, like,
Further north.
in that area. Yeah, when I called, they had told me, oh, we use this CCA or whatever, and so I called them and I says, how many communities do you do? And she was 19, she named them all off, and got them more in Northwest.
Okay, that answers that question. I guess the last question I have is, if we decide to reduce these permit fees and inspection fees, it's going to result, I expect, in savings to the township resident.
That's exactly what we're doing.
That's our goal.
That's the goal.
And it's just a realignment of the pay for the plan review and the permits, for the inspections.
Right.
Well, I don't have any other questions at this point.
This company here, Chris, this thing you're talking about, what do they do for all these communities? They do the plan review. Is that all they do?
I would have to look at them,
Yeah.
just to tell you the truth, to see what they do.
I mean, do you have,
I called them so long ago.
Yeah. I
I
just
can
wondered
recall.
what the cost, do you know what the cost? You just pay the annual fee then or something? The reason I was asking that, because we've had concerns with our inspector, who is not feeling comfortable with doing plan review. Right. Could we look into hiring that company to do our plan review?
What do we do? I'm feeling for discussion perhaps. We're going to table this, so let's write down some questions. Let's have Chris see exactly what they offer, you know, how much they charge, who's in it. Will they do just plan review?
Other than that, yeah, that's all I have.
Yeah, I guess I want to comment, just the only thing on the plan review, my thoughts in this whole thing. We're going to discuss perhaps phasing Charlie out of it soon. And if you look at our Armada Township, the plan review is $85, but they get $200 a month of mileage. you know what I mean? Charlie doesn't get mileage. So I still think we need to investigate. I think these are good things, but that will be because Drew has mentioned, as you said, he's not comfortable doing the pay review, and I appreciate that. Drew has also mentioned to me that he has found it difficult to find inspectors that are willing to let him call him when he's out somewhere, and Charlie is always good to do that. So, when we talked that night, you know, Charlie said a lot of the inspections I think Drew does as I think he's really comfortable with them. What it sounded like to me was when he did a rough house inspection, it could be 4 to 5 hours. And there were things that were pretty tedious and pretty little things that you had to know. And Charlie is good to support him with that. So that being said, the amount of money that we charge for plan review goes to Charlie. He gets 75% of that, right?
The plan review, he gets all. The
Okay.
permit fee, he gets
75%. So, I mean, and I still absolutely think that we should check this out. But I just wanted to offer that up so, you know.
So Charlie gets how much of the action?
Okay, he gets the plan review, he gets all of that. The permit fee, he gets 75%. The township gets 25%.
What to do with the inspections? He gets paid inspections, $40.
And then plus, we charge extra for the inspections, and Drew gets the inspection fee.
And that's what we're moving toward trying to address with this. Which I think we're going in the right direction. I think Chris has put a lot of work into this, and I feel that, you know, ultimate goal is for people to come in and pull a permit and not look at Chris and go, oh my God. You know.
It sounds to me like it's our pay structures are different. So it's kind of hard to compare to other communities.
I still feel though, I mean, are you guys okay with checking it out since we're heading into November?
Sure.
Okay, if there's no further discussion on that particular thing, I'm going to take a vote. So voting no will mean we're not going to approve them. So all those in favor of approving those say aye. All those opposed say no. No.
No.
Okay. So then I will bring back additional information. I'm thinking perhaps we should have a motion to authorize me to investigate the additional questions we spoke about regarding the plan review fees for the most part. And Chris will investigate the CCA, who's in it, what that stands for, and then we'll come back to the next meeting. I need a motion of something to that effect. Just, you know, Kathy will make it pretty and say everything it needs to say.
Direct the supervisor to go back and try to get some additional information regarding the plan review fees and speak to Charlie, and also have some further information obtained on the CCA and what they do for you in terms of plan reviews.
Is there support?
I'll support it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Okay, now we are down to the discussion of the building inspector. I don't really need a motion on this. I wanted to add this to you. I think Tom and Vern, when we talked about this last month, we thought that maybe we should start moving forward with this. So I did talk to Drew. He did email me all the credits that were required as well as a copy of his license. So he is absolutely a certified building inspector in the state of Michigan. I think we read through there to get his plan review. It sounded like the lady at the state basically told him send me $75 and we'll turn that around. And I think he was really uncomfortable with that, which is why perhaps CCA or talk to Charlie. So I guess I'm just going to open this up for discussion on how you feel about where we are with the building inspector. If you feel we should start moving toward making Drew our permanent building inspector and perhaps having Charlie do our plan review, or if we go with someone else. Jen, we don't. And Vern, I'm starting with you this time for your input on this.
Well,
I think we're already headed in the direction we're headed in. I don't think we need to, let's just keep doing what we're gonna do.
My question is like, what do you, in your head, do you have a timetable?
Well, just like you said, the building season's kind of on the end. If we get something in place by next spring, I think we're all right. My question would be with Chris, how do you feel working with Drew? Do you feel you have a good relationship with him? Or you seem like
He always responds back, text him, we have an inspection, got it over there. He always goes out. I don't want to say always, but I'm going to say 98% of the time, he's out that same day.
he's on time?
He is. He really is. He's good.
So I think if we get something in place by next spring, fine. It gives us time to kind of work this over and I don't want to just boot Charlie.
I don't either. That's,
I think we need to.
That's my issue.
Talk with him.
Right. I agree.
But, I'm sorry, but I do want to say Charlie does call the office almost every single day. What's happening? Is anything happening over there? I mean,
He's been fabulous.
And if I have questions, I call Charlie.
Okay.
And Charlie answers them.
And Drew calls him too.
And Drew calls him too. Like, he is so knowledgeable that,
Could we maybe do something with Charlie like we do with Rob with our computers?
Stipend, yeah.
That was my suggestion too, to work out some type of consulting agreement with him.
Consulting fees.
I
So
think-
that he gets paid for
Yes.
consulting and if it's more hours than he
Yeah.
has to do for the planner too, he gets paid a higher wage. And that gives Drew the support he needs at the time that he's uncomfortable with the plan review, but still gives Charlie some remuneration for the services he's given us.
I totally like that idea, because there's nothing worse than pushing somebody who's a little uncomfortable into something here, and if that's going to leave too much room for error, it's not a good thing. And that's a win-win if you ask me.
And Drew did
He's
say,
knowledgeable in this field.
he said Charlie was always so good. Whenever he calls Charlie always answers him and tells him the directions to go, so.
Maybe if we could direct Drew, I don't know if Charlie and Drew could sit down and maybe go over plan reviews together.
Charlie can do that, I'm sure.
Kind of.
You see me looking at you, Chris, like, do you think we could get involved in the office together? That'd be good.
Well, I don't know. Charlie probably does his plan reviews at home, really. He just,
new homes, he does take them home.
Yeah.
Usually, hold arms or ducks or whatever. He usually just sits in the office and does them.
How about if we work that out, we can figure something out where Drew could start with the plan review for the decks and
Right.
here.
Pools and-
he's going to be our inspector, and I think it's a part he needs to learn.
We do.
And it's just.
And I think he wants to.
Yeah.
I just don't think he wants to mess it up, and I respect that immensely.
Well, I think time's an issue with me too.
And my question would have been, what makes him so uncomfortable with doing plan review? That's going to be part of the job. What's it, is it going to take some additional training?
I just
somewhere else
think there's
for
an
plan
awful
review?
lot to learn.
There is.
And and I think that he just was,
And I don't think the classes actually teach them the blueprints, like they don't actually sit down and teach them, well, this is what you gotta learn, them. Drew was saying that inspectors are so old that they are just there just to put in the time.
Right.
They all have to put in the same time as Drew does. Every 3 years, they gotta put in so many credits, so does Drew, and so does everyone else, and he says, they're old. He says, I don't know what's gonna happen when they all retire, because there's no one new coming in.
It's like a lot of people.
very true. Sad but true.
One of the suggestions maybe is if Charlie and Drew could get together and Charlie could pull some of the old
Oh, that's a good
plans
idea.
from new homes that were built maybe in the last 4 or 5 years and go through them with Drew and try to tell him what needs to be reviewed and here's the situations that I seen and that's a good learning way once they're ready here.
Yeah, that's great.
I think too, that whenever we've had trouble with the building, it's usually that something's been missed on planning. So I think that's Drew's thing. He doesn't want to miss anything, because then it comes back to bite you later on.
Yep.
And I think that's the main thing. It's a lot of stuff to look over and, oh yeah, I forgot this,
That's it, you're correct. Okay, so, going to work on that. We'll talk to Drew and Charlie and see where we go from that. I'll come back, I guess, next month and let you guys know. Okay? Anyone have anything else on that before we move to the ADA doors? No? Okay, next item on the agenda is the approval of the ADA door bid award. So a motion would be in order to award a bid to Meridian Construction Group for installation of ADA doors for the Richmond Township Hall at $24,680 and for the Richmond Township Senior Center doors at $5,300.
Make a motion.
Is there support?
Support.
All right, discussion. I'm going to actually defer to Jeff first, and if you could address Mr. Murphy's question on that now, that would be great.
Sure.
Thank you.
So I'm neither an engineer nor a builder, so I rely on those people who engineer and build things to tell me what it takes to put the project together. I can tell you a month ago that we were here, we had one bid that came forward. It was in the neighborhood of $40,000, I think. It was about $10,000 over the projected grant amount. This month we do have a bid that is within the projected grant amount, which is $30,000. It's bid right there on the edge of it. Every basically glass door that comes in and out of each building will have a power door opener on it. You're familiar, see these in some grocery stores, hospitals, many other public buildings. And so basically you will hit a button on the exterior of this building. It will open the two glass doors that enter the building from the outside. You'll come inside the building into the lobby here. You'll strike another button if you want to enter this room, and the glass door here will open as well. There needs to be some modification to this particular glass entryway to accommodate the door opener, and so that's why I think this building is a little more costly. Having said that, I think this is the more important of the two buildings because I think this building is far more utilized than the senior center. The senior center, similarly, you will push a button outside the building. There'll be a button both outside and inside of the building. On all of these, you'll push a button. It will open the glass doors that enter the building. There's two sets of doors there in order to go in, and again, it will work as well coming out. There's not as much modification with the doors over there, which is what I understand is the reason for the price difference between the two buildings. But we do have a detailed bid specification that, I'd be happy to share with anybody who wants it. Really, it's countless pages of detail that AEW put together for us so that contractors would know exactly what their expectation was.
Is there any discussion? Chris, any questions for Jeff?
No, I think we pretty much covered it.
Ken? Bob?
No questions.
Vern? Okay. I will, then, if there's no discussion, I will ask for a roll call vote on the motion, please.
Can I ask a question though? Or we can't do it.
We don't usually do it here. Did Mr. White not address your question?
I can't believe there's $20,000 difference between one building and the other one. We get 4 doors there, we get 6 doors here. So an extra 2 doors, we're paying another $20,000.
I'm certain that you, as Mr. White indicated, you could see the bid specs, and perhaps that would better explain that.
Do you think we should have some other eyes look at that before we go ahead and?
No, actually, we're going to take a vote right now. I was giving you a little leeway there, but we have had that. We've had our engineer look at it, so.
Just to clarify, and maybe it will help, the bid spec is 121 pages long for this, so it's pretty thoroughly gone through by our engineers and architects. I have to rely on them to make those kind of recommendations. I certainly have no way to know how to make this system work, if you will. That's not my area of will tell you the township, we're not to move on this tonight. We received a letter here in the township from the county of Macomb, who's providing a grant, who simply said if we don't move forward with this tonight, that we'll just lose this $30,000. And again, this is not coming out of the township general fund. This is a grant provided us to make our buildings ADA accessible. As long as we're under the amount, I hate to see us lose this money. I'm not sure that we would get it the second time.
All right, Kathy.
Roll call vote will be Krista Voss.
Aye.
Bob Zalka.
Aye.
Vern Coleman.
Aye.
Cindy Greener.
Aye.
Kathy LaFontaine. Aye.
Motion's carried. Thanks, Jack, for all your efforts on that. Thanks a lot. Under new business, moving along, we have item 1 is approval of resolution 2018-11, the smart credit transfer. A motion would be in order to approve adopt the Richmond Township Resolution 2018-11, approving automatic transfer of smart municipal credits from Richmond Township to Richmond Lennox EMS, and further to authorize Supervisor Green to sign the municipal credit and community credit contract for fiscal year 2019 on behalf of Richmond Township.
Make the motion that the supervisor has just requested.
Is there support?
I'll support it.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Thank you. There's the motion. Thanks. Okay, next item on the agenda is franchise fees. At the last meeting, Treasurer Zalka had a couple of questions, and I know that Trustee DeVos has been investigating these, so I'm at this point just going to turn this over to Chris.
Yep. Looking into it here since last meeting and attending the cable meeting since then, the discussion that you mentioned about franchise fees, we are coming up next year. The contracts are expiring for these municipalities that belong to NEMC and Comcast. I know some of them expire February 19. Ours expired sometime in 19. It might be February, I think in March or April. I was looking for the contract that Keith signed in 99 so I could confirm the exact date. I have not found that yet, so we'll have more information when we find that. But the problem that we're facing right now is that we're so close to this expiring, but Comcast hasn't reached out to us to renegotiate. They haven't returned any of the NEMC board messages or emails or phone calls or gave us really any information on what we have to look forward to. One of the big questions is, do they even have to negotiate with us? Do they want to keep NEMC? They could just drop us off. We don't know what direction they want to take, and we're trying to get some response out of them. So I have asked Supervisor Green if she'd be willing to write a letter and maybe send it to the attorneys that represent Comcast. I provided the email that we have a copy in front of here. There's 2 emails there. I'm going to send some emails asking for some phone numbers. She's going to send a letter from Richmond Township asking where they feel we're headed here. Are we going to start negotiating? Because we're inside 6 months, so I think we should be negotiating by now. So,
Should we get Sharon involved in it?
Yes.
might not be a bad idea at this point. So I touched base with the board today with Joe there, who's had direct contact with these attorneys in the past, and she, even as of this afternoon, has yet to make contact with them.
I know that one gentleman, I worked a couple places that has dealt with him. He is very, very hard to get a hold of.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I can't remember his name. I think I know. Oh, Neil. Okay. Okay. There's a jury at Elder too that was our case. So we're currently working on that. We really hope by the next board meeting next month we have some kind of information for that. Meanwhile, I'll try to find that original contract from Heron to Comcast, because Heron had a 15-year contract that I think was signed mid-90s, maybe 96 or 5. But when it went from Heron to Comcast, I think they signed a 20-year, sometime in the year of 99. So I'm working on learning a little bit more about that.
Any discussion at all or questions for Chris?
I think he's answered my questions. You can stay on top of this issue.
Definitely.
We got 15, 16,000 that comes in from Comcast and franchises. It's part of the budget.
going to actually get a hold of Sherry and let her know what we're looking at doing, and perhaps she can craft a letter on our behalf, is what I was hoping. Would you want to make a motion? We can do that if you'd like. Or you just want to, however you want to do it.
I'll make the motion that we ask our township attorney to craft a letter to Comcast concerning this issue of franchise fee and contract expiration date and the interest in the township to sit down with to negotiate an extension or new contract, whatever is necessary.
Is there support?
I'll support.
Any discussion on this at all? I will contact her tomorrow on this, because I think the sooner we get up, just the better. And Chris, she may have to do it.
So that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Next item on the agenda is staff coverage for New Year's Eve office hours. Bob?
Okay, I was looking ahead on our calendar, and I noticed that the way Christmas and New Year's fall this year, they're both on, I believe, Tuesday. We have Christmas Eve, the 24th, which we would normally have off, closed. New Year's Eve, the 31st. In the years past, township treasurer and deputy treasurer have been in the office to try to collect taxes. What I'm concerned about, this is a year that, because the holidays fall on Tuesday, we're actually going to only be open one day that week of Christmas, that being Thursday the 20th. And we won't be open more than one day again on the following week, not Thursday the 20th, but Thursday the 27th. The following week again, we would only be open, I think, on 3rd. So I propose that on this year, because it's, like I said, it's the unusual year, it only happens really on a situation where we have a holiday on Tuesday like this, that we have the office staff open on New Year's Eve, whatever hours the township wants to set for that day. And the reason why is we've had residents come in on that day. I'll give the example. It's Mr. Russ. Mr. Russ has come in the last 2 years with 12, 15 parcels to have his tax bills paid. So I think that we should consider, because of the way the calendar falls, that we have the office open for a certain amount of time on New Year's Eve with the office staff.
Is that a usual holiday for them, 31st?
No.
No. Okay.
New Year's Day and Christmas.
I couldn't remember, I'm sorry. So, how long were you guys usually here, like from 9
We usually
to 12?
stay at 9 to 12. Yeah, we usually stay at 9 to 12.
You talking Christmas Eve as well? Yeah.
No, I don't think it's necessary Christmas Eve, because we got the day open on the 27th. I'm really more concerned about that last day of the year to pay taxes, and people want to get it on their tax returns for the tax year 2018.
And it's New Year's Eve day.
So that would be Monday. That's generally all 3 of the girls. Do you think that we need all 3 of them to be here? And perhaps you want to know, I've never been here to know
I
how
don't
busy
think
you
you need
are.
all 3. I think
2?
2 at most.
You think 2 at most, maybe 1 is what you're thinking, or would you like 2?
I think it's probably better to have 2.
2,
We
yes, with money
we had sometimes calls.
Certainly understand that. I'm thinking, my opinion is, you know, if you could get 2, if we could talk to 2 staff members and get them to come in from 8 to 12, you feel that's long enough?
Sure.
You know, I guess we could talk with the office manager and see if we can get 2 of them to come in and,
Well, I think,
you know.
I think I'm opposing this as a board, because we don't want this should set the office hours that day. And we're awfully nice to a staff, and I appreciate that. If my recommendation is that we have office staff here that day, I'd ask to make that decision to have office staff here.
How about we do this, then we'll have someone make a motion to have the township offices open on New Year's Eve from 8 a.m. until noon with at least 2 staff members here. We'll get that motion of support, and then I guess hear everybody's thoughts on it.
I'll make that motion.
Is there support?
I'll support.
Okay. Discussion, Vern, what are you thinking?
Well, did they get that date?
No.
Did they get it wrong?
No.
So what's the problem?
There were some kids really bad.
I don't think we included it in
I think what it is we have it in the policy to be closed on that day. Okay, not paid for that day.
No, I can see Bob's point too. That's how they run their business. You run it, you pay your taxes the last possible day.
A lot of people do that.
Oh, so, nothing against it.
Yeah.
I'm all right. We should also throw it out there too, that if it becomes a problem with a few that just can't due to whatever obligations, I'm not doing anything in that day. I would be available to fill in if the staff can't. Put it that way.
Chris?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, especially since we're only be open technically. We didn't do that 2 days in a 2-week period.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea. I'm support.
Okay. I support it as well. I think 8 to 12 is good. Here one time, should give people 4 hours of the work. We'll get it on the website, so they know they'll be here. That's correct.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay. We have a vote on that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Okay, next is the status of the website. You also wanted this on here, Bob. I wasn't sure exactly what, just an update, I'm assuming, right?
Just nothing, yeah, let everybody know.
Yep, no, we actually met the other night. They'd given us a home page, which was, you know, the first portion of it. We looked it over. Wasn't crazy about the colors of red, white, and blue that they tried to incorporate, so we did get a hold of them, and Lori sent the list of our concerns. It felt like they just tried to plug in a little red and a little blue here and there. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it didn't really flow so good. So, and there were some icons and things that felt a little disproportionate. So I think we made some good suggestions to them, and hopefully we'll hear back from them soon. And I guess what we can do too is if everybody wants to see it, when he sends us back the second page, we can send everybody the sign-in page and you can look at it if you wanted to do that.
I don't think we need, I don't think we do. I'm relying on the committee that.
That's what it is. Just as I know.
Oh, yeah, no, we will.
Yeah.
Absolutely, we're gonna see it. I just thought if they were.
Committee sees it, they're comfortable with it.
Yeah. We gave them a lot to chew on, so see what
We
they
sure
come back
did.
with. We can hit a whole list of stuff, so.
Now, is this a concern with this company, or are they coming through like you
No,
think?
I think that, you know, my gut tells me, we gave them some basic information with colors and kind of what we liked, and you know, they kind of said, if you remember when we were here, it would take a few times before they got our look down.
I think they're trying to get a feel for us too. They just threw something out there and said, okay, what are you gonna say?
I know we sent them a few websites, things that we liked on those too, which we had done before, but I thought we should just send them again to remind them.
How they handle this, we'll see how they do as a company.
Yeah, the color thing is the big thing too.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking we asked for what, we were gonna get that. And I didn't feel that. So, okay, good. All right, next we have items for next agenda. So I will be bringing back information on the building permit fees and something on the building inspector. If I have any information on the franchise fees, that will also be an item. Does anyone have any other items?
Are we,
The thing with the planner, have we ironed out that contract?
Yep.
That's all.
Yep, she Sharon said the language was good. I explained the concern that next year we would be hopefully using him a lot more, and she will be crafting some new language for that. Hopefully plenty early enough so we can all look at it.
You know, what I'd like on the next agenda is we have in the assessor's report some information about them having to file something by the end of November on us appeal to the tax tribunal. So maybe we can use a separate report on that.
Sure.
Or we just see where we're at.
Yep. Anything else?
I said you're going to be looking for input on members for the official, newly approved construction board of appeals. Do you have any candidates or ideas for anybody?
Actually, I was going to talk about that under the supervisor update, but that's great. I'm happy if you want to bring it up now, you can tell me.
I don't have anybody in mind. I just didn't know if you did. I guess I really haven't thought about it too probably, but do we have anybody in mind?
I did not have anyone in mind, but it seems like when we talked about this, we didn't have people in mind.
I had Joe Ryan. He works, in construction. He needs doing our liquor inspection. I guess that's also okay.
Yeah, because he's a licensed builder, and we want him.
What about Charlie?
The only thing I'm thinking is it will be his decisions they'll be appealing.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He'll be making the decisions that they would appeal. Chris, you deal with the builders all the time. Are there any builders you deal with that are in the township that may
What about our manager's son? Do you remember his name?
Rick.
Rick.
Yeah, he lives in the township.
He lives on Shoe Road.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Okay.
I think he'd be, if he's willing to do it, I think he'd be a good addition.
It doesn't look like it's going to be something that's going to be here every day.
No.
So, yeah.
So, and then we need to come up with one more. I'm looking at you, Chris.
They don't need to have all the buildings.
No, they don't have to all be builders, and
Well, Bob had brought Mr. Van Haver back to be.
That's right, Jim. Jim's a little
okay.
Yeah.
All around it.
Yeah.
Do they get paid according to like the other boards? Pretty much all the states?
We'll have, yeah.
Maybe set it up at the same
Yeah.
time.
Okay, well then on that agenda, I will put appointments to the, that board. Okay. Nothing else? Okay, if hearing nothing else, this is a call to the board. Do any board members have any comments they'd like to share?
Comment is, how is the garbage pickup go? We still get a lot of complaints before we were.
I am not getting many calls or emails anymore, and remember how we had changed it where you were sending everything to us, to me, and then I was getting a hold of Mary Jo. I have not had any complaints.
I haven't seen the garbage flying around the township much.
They got ticketed for that. I talked to her, and she said they actually got ticketed for flying out. Right, it was bad.
I'm just wondering how.
I will say that they dumped the recycling guy on Big Hand because it blocked our road for a long time, lost half its load on Big Hand. And they sent like 10 people there and they did not leave until every little piece of everything was
Good.
picked up.
I like that.
Put the truck back together, way down.
That's good to hear.
I can't remember where I seen it. I don't know if it was an email or somewhere, or there was an article about, what is it, GFL? Yeah, and their indication that because of some changes in the law, they may have to, they may be looking at where they can recycle, what they can recycle, and also the what's going to be going to the places like Linux is landfill. I can't remember where I seen it. I seen it in the last week or so.
Did you see it on TV where they were having a hard time with the plastic bags getting put in there and then they couldn't, their machines couldn't sort it? Is that what you're talking
No,
about?
this was an article I seen somewhere. I can't remember where I seen it. It was within the last week.
I've seen an article where, I think where, with the tariff war that's going on right now, China was taking a lot of that plastic and
Where'd you see that? That's the same article I seen.
I think it was on 60 Minutes or something, wasn't it? It was on one of the news programs or something, where it's getting backlogged. Is what it is. They can't move it out fast enough. Is the one after that I heard, but I'm not sure where I heard it.
All right. I do have one question before we close. I'm going back to the New Year's Eve with the girls working 4 hours. How, just because I believe the one on payroll, are they getting paid for a full day working 4 hours? Are we shorting that day? Are you going to work? How are we going to work that? Because it's not going to be a complete day. I mean, we'll make them work, but you've got 4 hours in there.
I think we'll just pay them the whole day.
For the full day.
That may be consent.
That's right. Anything else from the board? Okay, supervisors update. Just wanted to make sure everybody was all right. I did email, reach out to John Moore. The zoning enforcement contract for 3 years is up at the end of December. From everything I've heard, listening to Kathy and Lori and Chris when she would go, it's been a really good contract for us. It's been a good agreement for us. So if anyone has any problems, let me know. As soon as I hear back from John, we're going to bring that up with me too. Sharon did just send some wording on the proposed changes to the personnel policy regarding vacation time and conference. So I put it down in front of everyone. I'm going to email it though to everyone because you can actually see much easier the changes in red that she made. She also did have a review of the FOIA situation that we had some questions on last month. She stated that if the board felt that we wanted to do that, we certainly could. We could adopt a policy that stated clearly that we would do that with any employees, that if they were doing something that the board felt was over and above their job description, we could do that. We could not go back. But we could look at it in policy if we wanted to. I do know I had talked to Kathy about this, and she had contacted some other municipalities too to see how they did it. So I guess I'm going to leave that there. If the board does want to look at adopting a policy for that, I'm certainly open for that. You know, if you want to consider doing that, we can do that.
If we can't go back, then I would suggest we look at that issue.
Okay, so I will perhaps add that on to the next agenda. Just personnel policy, additional pay for additional duties, something like that.
Maybe just additional pay for extraordinary duties.
Extraordinary.
You call it overwork.
Yeah. Overwork. All right.
We're all over.
Okay, so I think that's about it. Chris brought up the construction board, which was good. So now we will go to general public comment, and you're welcome to come to the podium, and you can comment on anything you'd like.
I have 2 things I want to comment about. I did not like the idea of one lady working here by herself. The way things are today, her security is at risk. I believe we should have at least 2 people here all the time, maybe 3. I don't like one woman working by herself in an office. I just do not like that. My next question, this smart credit transfer, wonder if you could tell me, I see we're giving Lennox EMS $15,000. And I think we were all in the same company. I didn't understand why we're doing that. Can you tell me why we're doing that or what that's all about?
I think that's a pretty involved thing. I'd be happy to sit with you right after the meeting, go over it. I do believe though it's to Richmond and Lennox EMS. That's where the credits are going.
But we're all the same team, are we not?
Yes.
We're Richmond and they're Lennox, but they were singled out for getting $15,000, and I didn't quite understand why.
Do you mind if I?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So,
Thank you.
we receive in total from all the communities that we serve with the smart buses. It varies by community, but it'll be somewhere in the neighborhood of $300,000 or $350,000. Richmond Township receives $12,682. Lennox Township receives $19,973, and so on. All the townships receive varying amounts of money. They then turn those funds over to the EMS to operate the small buses. The EMS operates the small buses, SMART provides them, we pay the drivers, we pay the insurance, we pay the maintenance, we pay for the fuel to keep those on the road. Those funds are used to provide that small bus service. Those funds can only be used for public transportation. There's no other use allowed for those dollars. And absent the dollars, we simply would not provide the small bus service.
But in your paperwork, you're giving them $15,000. That's my question.
No,
Why would they
we're giving Richmond Lennox EMS $15,000. That money goes to the EMS to operate.
Okay, so we're still together. We weren't just giving it to them.
No, not at all. No, we're giving them actually. We're receiving from Richmond Township with the approval of SMART. This money all flows through SMART.
Sure.
So we're receiving $12,682 from SMART that flows through Richmond Township.
I thought I saw something like 15 grand. You say it's 12,000.
It's $12,682 according to my record, so I'm not sure.
I think that was in the contract.
Yeah, I'm not sure where the $15,000 number. There's no $15,000 amount that I'm aware of.
All right, that might be my mistake. I was reading that this afternoon. I didn't quite understand.
Yeah, no, that's like I say, but that's a portion of the about $350,000 that will come in to operate those 10 small buses.
I'm happy with the buses, but my son uses one twice a week, so.
Good. Any other public comment on anything?
I have one more. There was something on the TV tonight about Detroit and their 911 response. One lady had to wait 4 days for a response. We had one within 10 minutes, so they were doing pretty good versus Detroit. I'm serious. When I was on Channel 7 News at 6:30, this lady had to wait 4 days and her daughter was being beaten up by her husband. It was the missing thing.
Anybody else have any public comment? No? Okay, hearing none, a motion to adjourn will be in order.
Support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
8:34.